Conversation here at A Root Truth, where we speak truth about everything in life. It's not limited to ministry. And today I am here with the NAACP award-winning gospel artist, First Lady Emerald Campbell, my daughter, my vocal coach.
Yes, ma'am. Woo woo.
What's up, girl? Thank you for coming.
Mama. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
I appreciate you. It's an honor to be talking to you today.
It's
And
amazing.
to everybody else, hello.
Hi. Hello. So you'll see more of us,
Mm-hmm.
more of me. So yesterday we were having a good conversation,
Mm-hmm.
amazing conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
She asked me a question that got me thinking. I was like, I gotta share with the people. We gotta
Mhm.
talk to the people.
Yes, ma'am.
And so because she is a first lady at God's Nation in Dallas, Texas,
Mhm.
and me being, Mama Ruth here in Houston, Texas, in Kingdom
Yes, ma'am.
Embassy, we were discussing something that I think is so crucial, important, but at the same time needs a different perspective or light into how to survive in ministry, y'all. 'Cause
Yes, ma'am.
it gets wild.
Survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest.
Jesus. So yeah, Mama, like just on that subject in surviving in ministry, one of the things that Mama Ruth was saying that I was asking her, and this is probably one of the top things that people who are first ladies actually deal with from week to week, month to month, year to year. It never goes away.
Yeah.
And that is, how do you still serve people that you know are actually talking about you?
Girl.
How do you still serve them past what they've said or how they've even made you feel? Like, how do you do that?
Honestly, in the words of my spiritual father, Prophet Passion, if you don't like me, I don't like you. I'm joking. But I'm really serious. Like, I'm
That's
joking.
hilarious. No, it actually, to be very honest, people feel like that.
That we have a soul
Because
too.
and we do. And the honest to God truth about that for me is just like, people act like we chose this life. You know how people say thug life chose me?
Mhm.
Like, that's really how the life of a first lady goes, because
Yeah.
we're following the visionary,
Mhm.
but we're not the visionary. Like, we
Exactly.
actually came along with
Yeah.
the visionary. So everything that happens to us is not because we just firsthand
Mhm.
made that decision that
Mhm.
we're gonna plant this church or we're gonna
Exactly.
start this
Exactly.
work, or it never was that. So a lot of the time we get pulled into certain situations and
Mhm.
things, and we already don't have a dog in the fight, but
Exactly.
people still don't
Yeah.
like favor us. They don't
And I
like
think-
us.
And I think the misconception comes from where you're supposed to shepherd and love your people.
Mhm.
So they think that you don't have a soul in which where your personality, your
You
character,
can't even show.
someone might not like it just
Mhm.
by being in the church. They might not like the way you dress, the way
Yes,
you
ma'am.
look, nothing, you know?
Mhm.
But if you try to feed that and now you're taking the spiritual things into a fleshly matter and trying to make them love you or like you from a place of the physical things we see, then you're going to get lost, because
It's
now you're
true.
trying to get their approval, get their whatever. As a first lady, I got to love them, where it's like, hey, if you don't like the fact I'm black, baby, you just not going to like
Right.
me. It's just
It's
not your
true.
cup of tea, you know?
Mhm.
And if it's something where it's something I'm doing,
Yeah.
then okay, that's my fault, that's my bad. But I think you can get so stuck on trying to get people to like you that it's like
You
you're
can
not
actually
gonna
drown in that.
you
can
literally
in
drown.
that. And it's a peer pressure. It's a type of pressure that can not only cause you to become bitter,
Yeah.
but it can cause you to be distracted from your original assignment.
Yeah.
Like, it can put you in a space where I love when Papa talks about this, where you're so delayed.
Exactly.
Like, it can delay you, severely delay you, because you're spending so much time waiting on the approval of people.
Yeah.
And then another thing too that I was gonna say along with this is just the fact that when we're coming out of our lives before we come, into the role, if you would say, of a first lady or a pastor's wife or an apostle's wife or prophet's wife,
Yeah.
when we're coming into this role,
Yeah.
most oftentimes we're still on a journey to healing from our processes that we've dealt with before we even got there. Like, most oftentimes we're still in recovery mode from some of the things that have happened, because we are called to this type of ministry.
That's so
And
good.
so then we get here and the people don't like us.
They
It's
want
like
a healed product too.
they want the full package, but they don't even know the process that it took for me to even get my foot in this one door to start this church or to start this work. So how do you keep going, or how do you even with the opinions and the I don't like this and the judgments and the what they think you should do, how they think you should look, what they think you should respond to, what they think you shouldn't respond to. How do you keep doing what God is telling you to do? How do you stay in touch with what he told you to do or what he's telling you to do? Who do you look to for guidance in doing that?
Well, I think that's the importance of, obviously, number one, spiritual parents, your spiritual covering, especially my husband right now is the one that's over me as the overseer, even in Houston, Texas, you know? So that's important. But also, secondly, I think it's also important to not lose yourself in the process, where you have to know who your soul is outside of the role that you play. So I have to know Ruth outside of being a wife, outside of being a daughter, outside of being a mother. Like, who is that person? Because the same little girl that was there when I was 3 years old is still going to be here when I'm 30, you know? And whether I'm being healed, whether I'm still in my trauma, whatever it is, it's that soul that still walks with me. So if I don't invest in who am I, outside of even the spirit of Ruth, who am I as the soul and my experiences, then I'm going to let all of that dive into even my experiences in church and people in church, where I'm dealing with them from a soulic space. So now it's my soul at their soul. And all of our souls screwed up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, our responsibility as shepherd is to come from a place of the spirit to your soul.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because your spirit can receive whatever my spirit has to give you, but now it's the soul part of you that constantly needs the work, that constantly needs the investment, you know? So whenever I find myself butting heads with people from a soul atmosphere, I have to check myself, and I got to be like, all right. And I think you said it so good yesterday, where the only way to survive in ministry is to really see people through the eyes of Jesus. Like, you have to see their souls, and not even like, imagine yourself at church and strip down literally their flesh, like their body, their hair, their eyes, like their ethnicity, their culture, like lay it all down. Imagine them like a mist of air, and it's a soul.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying? So when you see them in that, it's not about like, oh, I don't like her attitude today, or she didn't like me and she thought this. You know, at the end of the day, they're still depending on you for whatever God has put in you to unlock in them, or whatever responsibilities given to you. Just like my spiritual parents too, even my husband, there's times they might not like me. You get what I'm saying? Does that mean they stop praying for me? 100%. No. Does that mean they all of a sudden, you know? No, unless I'm doing something obviously to I guess reject the anointing, or you know, their spirit man is rejecting it because I've made a conscious decision to reject them altogether. So I'm rejecting the person and the prophet, you know. But I think it's a wide topic, to be honest with you, when it comes to, and I haven't found the answer.
Exactly. I think that's a good point though too, Mama. Like you saying that you haven't found the answer, because there's not just one answer. It's a journey. The journey is the answer. It's like you have to continually live out your life with these practices. It will never not be like that. People will always like be coming for you. There's no, in every area of your life, especially with the office that your spouse and you are called to, will be like that.
Imagine you have so many people in your church. Literally, you have people from police officers to bakers. You have criminals to victims, you know. It's like you got to counsel the criminal, then you call the victim right after, and you got to still give them the gospel. And then there's so many different, it's a wide spread of people. Imagine there's no place in this world that a body of people come together that are so different in their life. Yet you have one message to give them that's supposed to penetrate all of their lives. It's a hard responsibility and a hard place. And I don't even like to say I'm there yet. That's why I don't even have no title. I don't like being called prophetess this, mama, that, pastor, that. No, because what comes with that is an actual spiritual responsibility where you got to know what you're doing and how to actually tap into that soul and feed it what it needs, you know? So for me, it's a constant work, like a constant work in myself as a leader before I can even open my mouth about anybody else and anything else, you know? But it's tough. It's hard out here in these streets. Like, it really is. Because it's like, when you really think about ministry, literally, you can name a movie. I'll tell you who's there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Name Tyler Perry. Why'd I get married?
Listen,
We got somebody
exactly.
there. Name Upset.
Jesus.
We got somebody there. John Tucker Must Die. I mean,
we got everybody. Medea's Big Happy Family. We got we got what is that show? We got all these stuff. We got
so
Love
much,
and Hip Hop.
But then
we
that's
got
my question.
all the things.
How
Karamo.
do you now? Karamo. We got Dr. Phil. We got
Dr.
we
Phil,
got everybody.
Oprah.
So
everything.
how do you, as a first lady, how do you manage so many issues that people have and still apply wisdom and counsel to them, but at the same time have everybody feel like their story is of paramount importance? Like everybody's story matters. Does that make sense?
Ma'am.
It's like,
yes, ma'am.
and it's not just one part of their life. Like we're saying, it's a movie. Like somebody's living a whole John Tucker Must Die, you know?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you got women in the church that are like that, you know? But then how do you make it where you are there in every season, every series of their movie, and you're constantly present? Are you even supposed to be present?
That's what I was literally getting ready to say.
Okay.
There, you have to be able to know. One of the things that I've realized or that I'm learning is that you have to know when you should be hands on, and you also have to know when you should be hands off. So, like, there have been moments where, in my soul, and this is a point that I was loving that you were talking about too. In my soul, I want to help them, and even though in my soul it might not be something that seems like it's rude or mean, it can be me actually wanting to do for them from my soul. You know, like loving them from my soul.
Right.
Like gearing my care towards just that way. But that's not what my spirit is leading me to do.
I see.
It's what my soul is leading me to do.
Okay.
Because I might feel like, oh, I have the experience, so I have the answer. But really, that's not God's answer for them. So in those scenarios, in those situations, I literally, truly lean on God. And the number one thing I've had to continually repeat to myself is that these are not my people.
Okay.
These are God's people.
Oh.
These people, even though I love them dearly, some of them call me mama, some of them, they consider me a spiritual mom, they consider me, you know, just, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, these are his people, and I have to treat them as such, and I have to do what he wants me to do with his people.
Whether they like you or not.
Whether they like me or not, whether I think it's whatever I think. What do I think when it comes to God? What is my thoughts?
You don't have
like
that.
I don't have like, who am I, you know? And I have to consistently, even with myself, like a lot of the things I found in the journey to learning what to do with people, he's practiced that, or he's shown me that with myself. Like, you don't have a say so. If I tell you to go, it doesn't matter what you think is gonna be out of line or out of whack. Yes, you had a plan, but that wasn't for now. Yes, you had this or that, but that wasn't for. So it's the same thing with people. Like, I have to continually remind myself, they're not my people. So what does he want me to do with them in this moment versus what do I think I should do in this moment?
But then now, what do you do in those times where you say they're not my people? You haven't been in a moment where it's like, I don't see nobody. Like, I don't want to see them. Does that statement, though, kind of like now negate the whole purpose of like, okay, God, these are your people, they're not my people? But what about the times I'm like, I don't want to see these people? Like,
it still remains.
Does it still remain, or is it like, I gotta shift my like attention though, because they're not my people, but I can't also be so far off like they're not my people? Like, where do you find the balance? You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
like
ma'am.
The question.
Where's the balance? Like, when can you actually take a break from these people? Right. Like, do you wait for God to say, like, okay, you can take a break now? No. I think, like I said, I think the biggest thing for me, even in those moments, because why am I actually saying I don't want to be around these people? Okay. What is that driven by? Okay. Like, if I'm saying, obviously the Lord knows and has factored in, like we have in everyday life. And unless he's telling me, I actually don't, let me say this, I don't handle them unless he has led me to handle them. If I'm not handling them, or he hasn't led me to do something like right in that moment for them, then I'm just doing what it is that I normally do, because he hasn't given me any instructions for them. Or my husband, who is also the voice of God in a sense in my life, right? In a way, because he's my leader. if he hasn't told me to do nothing, I'm not going to interject myself nowhere else. I'm just going to do what he's asking me to do. And a lot of the time when we get to that space of like, or when I get to that space of like, I don't have nothing to do with these people. I've done like 99.5% of something in my own strength.
That makes you tired.
I've done it like with my own like effort, with my own, you know, like I've literally like.
So that's why it gets to a place where it's like you love the people God gives you, but then you want to strangle them sometimes.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're like, God, where do I find the balance of like, I'm called to you, I gotta love you, but then I gotta want to run away sometimes from you.
Ma'am. We're human. It's gonna happen like that. Either way it goes, it will happen like that.
Yeah.
But when you kick into that place where you just, it starts to affect your soul, then it's like you've been doing something outside of what he's asked you to do.
And I think that speaks also of the strength of your soul, and also your spirit man, because it's like, and that's what I've noticed. A lot of men and women of God that have that kind of responsibility, they are, it's not that they're zombies or emotionless, but they have control. They're not running around here crying at every little obstacle, issue. Somebody didn't like me. Ooh,
For
like
real.
they don't have that. Not because they're heartless or because it's just like my function or my title, my calling doesn't allow me to be. But there's a strength even in your emotions to know, like to have control over what is in the spirit realm versus what's in the soulic realm.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's like, which one is it? But girl, it'd be hard.
It's deep. It is. It is a hard thing. And even still, when it comes to just wanting to strangle people, like you're gonna feel like it's no way to avoid like how you will feel. Like feelings are like they're thermometers.
Yeah.
It's just to tell you like what your temperature is. But if you become led by your feelings, then that's when you have an issue. So
would you say as women, because we're women, and even though we're not given the vision necessarily in the church or in the ministry. We're not Joyce Meyer, both of us, right?
For real.
I ain't Joyce Meyer. We're not, you know what I'm saying? But do you think that's also why, like, no, God knows, obviously, because I believe that the way God formed me, He formed me for an appointed time for a precise purpose.
Yes,
you get what I'm saying? So even my soul, my personality, my character, whatever I carry, all of it makes sense to my purpose, my assignment. But knowing that I'm an emotional being, do you think that of some sort he understood that, like, girl, you gonna want to strangle people and that's okay. Like, that's a part of the journey. That's a part of the process. So it's not like suppressing those feelings. It's knowing now, like you said, amping your spirit man. No, you can't amp your spirit man. It's already like amped to the highest degree. But at least your soul, where it comes to like being able to discern, okay, I'm operating from my soul now, even as a minister versus I know that I'm even tapped into the spirit, you know? I don't know. Like
how do you measure that? Or like, how do you like keep up with that?
Yeah, like, no, I'm saying as a woman, do you think God designed it that way for us? Or do you think it's more of an individual issue? Like, I'm just really emotional and that's my issue.
I think that women were created for a specific purpose, and we were created like we're unique beings.
Yeah.
Like there's not, I don't care what you try to do to become a woman or anything. There's literally no way that you can take the experience of a woman away from a woman. Because we were created for a specific purpose, and it's not just to only have babies, right?
Yeah.
But the ability that a woman has to be able to take a seed of anything and to produce anywhere, to be able to multiply what is given to her, there's no way that any other being can do the same thing.
That's so true.
You can't make a dog do the same thing that a woman can do.
That's so
you
true.
Can't make a cat do the same thing that a woman can do. You can't even make a child at the full capacity of who a woman truly is.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
That's true.
You know, like, but go ahead, Mom. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
But I was just saying, you know, we do a lot, but
I think that's why we get caught in the crossfire too.
We do, and it's the nature of a woman to be able to take something and make it like grow, but also the enemy plays on that with our emotions because he knows that we can be responsible for the rise of a man or the fall of a man based on how we allow our emotions to lead us, especially when it comes to a pastor or a preacher or there's a scripture that talks about you bringing rottenness to a man's bones.
Yeah.
Like what you can say
Yeah.
can bring rottenness to
Mm-hmm.
their bones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we have the power to be able to take what's given to us as first ladies and make it beautiful, with our emotions and all.
Yeah.
Or we have the opportunity to make it all ugly. Like we can come up in that. It could be everybody in that church could be so happy, so excited. If we step in there upset, the whole church is.
It's just the mood.
It's everybody's. Not because we are God or anybody, but because of the space that we sit in. We're trusted with such a powerful, like very pressure cooker type of role. Like we're cooked under pressure all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just like I said, I do believe that he considered that. Nothing catches him by surprise.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we try to factor in God to our equation based off of what we view him as. Yeah. Versus just letting him be him in the equation and being like, well, Lord, you created me, then you're going to have to use, like, you knew that I would be the way that I am when I would be like that, how I would be like that.
And I even want to tie it up to what I was telling my mentorship group, Let's Do Life Together, about weaknesses. And I was correlating it, saying, even now we're talking as first ladies and our weak, well, others see it as a weakness, and that's why now they don't like us, or they say, oh, she's not responsive, or she doesn't do this or whatever. Therefore, and so they'll be nitpicking at what they think is your weakness. But I was sharing with them how your strength actually makes up your weakness sometimes.
It's true.
You get what I'm saying? So a lot of the times when you're working on your own weakness, you try to negate it and make it seem like it's a bad thing. And I was using the analogy of even a battery, like how a battery works.
Yes,
you got to have a negative and a positive charge.
Yes, ma'am.
You get what I'm saying? So for it to even function right, that weakness, that negativity, God still uses it for you to reach your optimum or maximum potential.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
it's like walking as a first lady or walking as it don't have to be a first lady. You can be an entrepreneur. You could be a mother. Whatever it is you're doing. Yeah. There's that sense of you gotta first have grace on yourself, but understand that the negative, the weakness, the whatever that people take that's not, you know what I'm saying, or try to judge you for it because it's like, well, you should be this as a first lady or whatever the case may be. God even uses that like as an instrument to get you to where you need to be.
Yes, ma'am.
At all times.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? In every season, but it's hard because I spent so many years, I'm still even now spending time to really understand, like, baby, ain't nobody gotta like you. Like, and that's why I really mean it when when Papa says those words, I'm like, oh man, like it's like butter to my soul because it's like, you don't like me, I don't like you too. Like, I don't have to be perfect. Like, you get what I'm saying? And it's not that I'm saying I don't like you too, but it's like, let's keep it pushing because it's not about. It doesn't matter. There's times I don't like me either. You get what I'm saying? But it's like we're not here to be soulish. We're not here for you to like me. I like you. It's not a like basis. Jesus said to love one another, and love is a whole different thing outside of your soul.
Yes,
you get what I'm saying? It's birthed in the spirit. It's birthed in the things of the spirit. So it relieves me. It takes that stress, even when I have conversations like this, from like the pressure of you gotta act this way, you gotta be this way, you gotta, love people. If you don't, But the only place I can love them from is from a spiritual place.
Exactly.
Where I have to be there.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then I'm reaching to your soul.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you're just reaching from your soul to my soul, like both of our souls is damaged. So
exactly,
we just hurt people.
That's what I was.
It wouldn't. Yes. You get what I'm saying? And that's the thing. People think that just because you get in a place of, or where God has put you, all of a sudden your soul has been delivered, healed, and just standing up righteous in the Lord, and you got nothing to deal with. Like,
yes, ma'am,
that's true. Not the reality.
It's not.
Like,
it's not. It's literally the follow me as I follow Christ motto. It literally is like that because I'm following the same word that you hear my husband preaching could be the same word that I need to hear.
Exactly.
Just like you need to hear that word.
Exactly.
I went through just like you went through this week.
Yes.
I dealt with things just like you dealt with things this week.
Exactly.
So I think sometimes people they get the misconception that, oh, well, since he lives with us, then we probably already hear these sermons, or we probably already, we be up in there when they studying, and yes, they might bring us an idea or two, but as it pertains to letting the Holy Spirit lead them or letting
Yeah.
the Lord lead them in what they say and do.
Yeah.
He's ministered to them even for us.
That's true.
And even the very things that he's doing,
Yeah.
the fact that I've seen him from this place. I told a friend of mine the other day, I was like, the Lord knew that I needed to marry my husband.
Oh,
Like he knew I
yeah.
needed to marry a leader of a church
Yeah.
because he knew that I needed him every day. Everybody don't need him every day. But
Girl,
me, I need him every day.
Need him every second.
I need him every single day. There's no moment that I don't need him.
Exactly.
Because I probably freak out more than some people freak out. Because the thing is I'm not saying that, oh, I don't have no control over my emotions and blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying, though, that for this type of call, you need a drill sergeant. Like you need somebody breathing down your neck because your discipline has to be better. You have to be like it's not like we just, oh yeah, we're sitting up here roses and petals and it's not that. It's actually oftentimes harder. It's harder for us, but we're dealing with the same. We're actually dealing with the same things that everyday people they deal with. But everything sometimes comes all together.
Exactly.
Because why? We don't have time to be just one thing at a time. We don't have time to just be dealing with, one thing at a time. Most oftentimes God is trying to, it's like an onion when the Lord is teaching us something. Like there's a layer and then there's another layer and then there's another layer. So it's like we're also having to hear the same preached word. We're also having to heal from wounds. From your wounds caused by you, spiritual family and physical family.
Exactly.
For the call that I'm here for these people. I'm here for these people. And then my family's wounding me. And then the people that I'm called for that my family is wounding me for, they're also wounding me at the church. So it's like we have to have the word just like you.
Exactly.
We have to grow just like you.
And we have to have conversations like this.
Just like you.
And I don't know why, though. We lack that. Like, as a body of Christ, like, for some reason, we don't really come as, like, not even first ladies, but as women of God and talk about the weaknesses. Like, talk about the negative things. Like, talk about... And I think it comes from a place of wanting to look all, chiseled and, straight. But it's like, at the same time, that rawness of, like, there's times I don't like people,
People don't
I'm supposed to love them, but I don't like them. Like,
hey.
We don't have those conversations. So
no,
it's like,
we don't.
Whenever you go through those motions, you have that, like, something's wrong with me. Like,
yes, ma'am.
Maybe, am I not adequate, or is this not my calling? That people like this feel like this, in the work that I'm in. So it's really therapeutic to even have these conversations and to be able to address even to people that, listen, I understand we need to be thriving in ministry, but most of the time in the beginning, it feels like you're surviving. Like, instead of thriving, you're surviving. You're surviving because it's like you're walking into it, not just in your calling, but now everybody has an opinion over it. And now about your calling, about your walk, about your journey.
Yes,
and then, but you got to come into it. Obviously, God prepares you for that season, but it for me, it was never enough. Like, I can never say, oh, God prepared me just enough, and I was just ready for that season. Like, while I'm in it, I'll be like, yo, okay, like, how do I deal with this one now? Like, I don't, do you get what I'm saying? And
yes, ma'am.
But anyways,
100%.
I'm glad I had this conversation with you. I can't wait for the many more conversations we're going to have.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. And you're going to be doing your new stuff too with surviving.
Surviving. Yes. So surviving ... is going to be mine. So that's basically what I'm going to just talk about, surviving different topics. So surviving anything, just different things, because I think people need to be made aware of how to survive.
Exactly.
Past all of it, not just only their situations that are in ministry, but certain situations that are outside of ministry, just in everyday life. How do I survive everyday life?
I love that. And that's why I'm also doing my mentorship program. It's you liking it, girl? Yeah.
I love it. It's amazing. Y'all better get up on that.
But I don't want to just keep it ministry. I want us where we can go get a massage. We can go to the cafe. We've been doing it we've stopped a little bit now, but every other Saturday or every Saturday we were going out meeting with new people from the church. as well as people that just want to sit down and talk. And I think we're missing that. We need to get out of the four corners of the church. If it's getting our nails done, I haven't been to the spa by myself in a long time, just because it's like we need to learn how to do this life together without that sense of, all right, it's all about just feeding my spirit, which is amazing. But at the same time, majority of your life is spent on your soul and your flesh and what you're doing. And if you don't have people that you can connect with on a level when you're doing the mundane things in life, then you get lost in it, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
And so it's very important that you have people to do life with. And so my vision is to connect the heart of people to the heart of God through being authentic in doing life, just doing life, you know, and who you are wherever you are. So if that's for you, please do reach out to us and we'll make sure to add you. It's just a mentorship group. This is not daughters group. This is not, it's just mentorship. And even if you don't see me as your mentor, if you just want a body of women, of, you know, believers to come together and do that, then you're more than welcome to join. Also, one last thing. Something else I was trying to announce. Huh?
Hashtags follow you.
Yes. Follow me at Ruth Truth and YouTube. Child, I don't even
like,
know.
share,
subscribe.
Like and comment on Instagram. Like and comment on Facebook. Wherever you are. Put
on the comment what you want me to talk about, what you want what you want to hear. I'm talking raw. Topics that you don't ever hear. Whether it be in church or from a woman of God, I will spill the beans. That much I can do. Says Mama Ruth ain't holding nothing back.
Okay? You ain't.
And I don't. And I ain't. But anyways, I love you all. God bless you. See you soon.